right, let's get started. So this is our regular rev up schedule. Well, I kind of do rev up different than some of the other offices, just so you know. I've kind of revamped it just a little bit, but we normally start with setting yourself up for success. That's where we're starting. Last week we talked about the listing presentation, I think. No, we talked about making and getting offers accepted. Writing and getting offers accepted was last week. I had to really go back in my brain to pull that one out. That's normally kind of in the middle, but I wrote the schedule kind of funky, and so there was a miscommunication. So we did that one last week. Now we're kind of starting at the beginning. This Rev Up series will happen every Thursday, same time, same place, 10 o'clock. Same link. It'll take us through the end of November or up until about Thanksgiving. We don't do class during Thanksgiving, but it'll take us up until about that time. And then we will jump into in December. I usually do a special series that is something like I've done like 12 days of lead generation. I've done 12 days of systems and processes to help you be more successful in your business. So I don't know what we'll do for our 12 days series, but it's coming up. So I've got to work on what I want to do there. Also in October, we're going to jump in and do some business planning classes as well. So just stay tuned for that. So this one's geared at some of our new agents, but it's always good to jump in and see what is in here, because sometimes you, as a new agent, you set up a few things, but you forget to set up some other things. You're not quite in a place where you're ready to do that yet. So every class, you're going to pick up something new. So today, setting yourself up for success. We're going to talk about your one value proposition, or your OVP, your bio, voicemail greeting, business basics, agent financials, branding, online presence, and marketing. I've missed you too, Adriana. I'm glad you're on. It's been a while since we've talked. You don't need me anymore. All right. So your one value proposition, this is where I recommend starting as a new agent. Your one value proposition is what's going to attract clients to you, right? Why should somebody associate themselves with you and who you work for, right? Why would they want to hire you as their listing agent or their buyer agent? What is that one value proposition? You're going to go into kind of, right, what makes me unique? How do you set yourself apart from other agents? So to create your one value proposition, you want to just define that uniqueness as a real estate agent or real estate professional, and clarify your benefits for your clients, right? And we kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday. If you joined us for our BRBC, or our buyer forms training, we talked about the BRBC, we talked about the PSRA, the BIPP, the BFI, right? You're like, oh my gosh, Amy, the MT, right? All these acronyms of forms that we covered yesterday, they were all buyer related. And one of those things was, hey, like, when we're sitting down for our buyer presentation, let's talk with them about where they are financially, what their house goals are, right? Let's do that as their homework leading into that. Let's set them up for success and let them know that we care about what they want and need. We also talked about potentially even handing that cancellation form filled out, ready to go at the time they sign the BRBC. So if at any time they want to cancel, it makes it really easy. Nobody else is going to do that. It's going to help them to not feel locked in. So, right. So maybe that's some of the benefits you offer your clients. But why would a client associate themselves with you? So think about that. What sets you apart from every other agent? Not I'm going to go unlock doors for them, because every agent's going to do that. But what sets you apart? Are you going to look through the expired listings to try to find houses that might match their criteria that aren't on the market? Do you have a whole slew of like pocket listings of people you've talked to that would potentially sell their house if they found the right buyer and they didn't have to put it on the market? Are you going to send out mailings to homes that match their criteria to try to find somebody who wants to sell a property, right? What are you going to do why would somebody want to associate themselves with you? What do you provide that makes you unique? And then how do you set yourself apart from other agents? So that's how you're going to craft that one value proposition, kind of answering those three questions. So again, why should a client associate with Realty One Group and yourself? What do you provide that makes you unique? And how do you set yourself apart from other agents? Okay. So let's look at what some examples of that might be. Examples of your OVP or your one value proposition. This is ultimately, I don't know if you've heard like the term elevator speech before, but this is kind of your elevator speech. If you were, had 30 seconds to sell somebody why they might use you. Oops, sorry. Sorry, I went backwards. Let's try this again. All right. If you had just a short period of time to tell people why they would pick you, that's what your one value proposition is. I'm just readjusting my screens a little bit because I'm having problems seeing everything. All right. So here's some examples. One would be, through my 7 years of real estate experience selling both commercial and residential property, I know I can make your real estate dreams a reality. Whether you're hoping to buy your first home or sell a commercial property to receive a nice return on investment, I will use my skills and expertise to advise you on the most effective buying and selling strategies and find you the best price. I promise to make your real estate endeavors simple and hassle-free so that you can feel encouraged and excited about the next chapter of your life. Who doesn't want my real estate endeavors to be simple and hassle-free? That's what I'm looking for, right? Who wouldn't want that? So, right, what sets you apart? What makes you unique? And although all agents might be thinking, hey, that's the goal, how many are actually voicing that to their clients, right? So they set themselves up with their experience, what they can do for the client, and then what sets them apart. Another one, having grown up in the Waukesha County area, I'm excited to bring my skills and expertise to your local community to help families find their new homes. For the last 4 years, I've assisted couples in buying their starter home and helped others find a larger space for their growing family. Once I learn about your ideal future home, I will work tirelessly to ensure that we find you the best property at the most affordable price, right? You're like, oh my gosh, that's the agent I want to work with. Okay, and one more example, buying or selling commercial property doesn't have to be a challenge. Through my 7 years of experience, I've had the pleasure of helping clients buy over 40 properties at a reasonable rate and sell over 50 commercial buildings. Using my skills and expertise, I know I can assist you in your real estate goals by consulting with you on different buying or selling strategies and helping you find the best space for the right price. Whether you're looking to expand your business operations or make a profit on your office space, I can help make the process easy, right? So one value proposition, just kind of like your statement of who you are, what you can do for your clients, and what sets you apart. Any questions about that one value proposition?
No.
All right. If you need help with this, number one, work with your accountability partner to write it up. But number two, use Chat GPT, right? Put it in there. Hey, create a one value proposition, including the following things. And then like write out who you are, why somebody would want to use you, what sets you apart, right? And then it'll like create something for you. It might help get you started or might help flush out. Sometimes what I do is I'll like write something up and then put it over in Chat GPT and ask it to please rewrite using a comedic or professional tone or whatever it is, and it'll rewrite it for you and make it sound more professional. So I use it all the time. So just think about that and feel free to plug it in there and use it to help spit something out. Once you have that one value proposition, then we want to dig into your next step as a new agent, setting yourself up for success, is creating a bio. Okay, so your bio is going to be next in your biography, right? Because we have a bio. This goes lots of places. It'll go on your website. It will go in your Barry's profile or your MLS profile, right? You can put it on your Realtor.com, your Zillow, your car, your NAR. It all has your bio in there. So there's so many places this bio is going to go and so important. So in the bio, it's like a longer version of your one value proposition. So your one value proposition is kind of like a condensed version, like the short, like here's who I am, here's what I offer, here's what makes me unique. Where your bio, you're going to go more in depth into your real estate experience if you have it. Keep in mind that if you just got your license, but you've bought and sold properties on your own, or your parents did and you were part of that experience. Like, you can rope that in. It's all in how you share your story. Okay. So just because you just got your license doesn't mean you don't have real estate experience. But if you have it, throw it in there or spin it however you want to. If you've got other sales experience or anything else that you think would help you be successful or help clients think that you could be successful in helping them buy or sell homes, throw it in there under that real estate experience. You want to convey your connection to the area that you sell in. How long have you lived in the area? If you just recently moved there, why did you move there? What are you looking for in your family? Why would people want to move there? And how can you connect with that? We want to make sure that you emphasize the value you provide your clients, right? So that's inside that one value proposition. Include any special designations if you're like a certified negotiation specialist or a green certified, or you're a buyer agent specialist because you took the free class that they were offering, right? Whatever that is, include those in there. You can include any awards that you've won, if there are any, and then tell a story or include personal information about yourself. Who are you on a personal level? Or even like on the real estate experience, you could even go into, or at the end, either one, like why you decided to become a real estate agent, right? So you can share all that in that bio. And again, I like to, write it up, kind of type up, address all these points. Then you can take it and throw it into Chat GPT and say, write me a bio using these points, and it'll spit out something that looks and sounds professional. The other option is there is a site called Fiverr, Fiverr, I believe is how it's spelled. There might not be an E. It might be Fiverr, but I think there's an E in there. Anyways, it's like freelancers, and you can hire somebody for like $10 to write your bio. And you can go through there, you'll search Fiverr and say, I'm looking to write a biography and then a bio statement. And then it'll pull up people that's what they do. Usually there's examples of their work. So you can read through and be like, oh yeah, I like the sound of that one. Or I like the tone of this one. And then you can hire them for like pennies on the dollar. Like I said, it's usually it's called Fiverr because it used to, it'll start at like $5, but like 5, 10, $15, you can hire somebody to write your bio, and they might ask questions. They'll do revisions for you. They may say, hey, here's the information I need. And then they'll put that together for you. So that's another option if you're not good at writing stuff on your own. I always say surround yourself with people that are good at the things that you're not good at. Okay. Any questions about your bio? All right. So one value proposition, then you're going to create your bio. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to make a voicemail greeting. I know I never really thought about this as a new agent. It was like, right? Epiphany moment. Usually you're just like, hey, this is Amy with Realty One Group Fox. Sorry I wasn't available. Please feel free to leave a message. Text me for a faster response, right? Nothing. It's just like kind of your boilerplate voicemail greeting. But think about it more, right? People are going to be calling you on your phone because they may want to do business with you. Maybe you've got a sign in somebody's yard. Maybe you've got right, so there's a sign call, maybe you sent out mailers, maybe they got your card from an open house. We want a commercial that's going to boost our business when they don't get us on the phone. I mean, ideally you're going to answer your phone every time it rings, but sometimes you're on the other line up here in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes I'm out of reception, like 50% of the time I have no cell phone reception. So it goes to voicemail. So that voicemail greeting is going to be that first impression that's going to instantly set you apart from other agents. And we want to make sure that we set expectations for a callback. Okay. Your voicemail message is going to be your powerful communication tool. Keep it 15 to 30 seconds. Any longer, people are just going to like hang up on you. So you want it to be passion charged. And sometimes, right, that voicemail greeting, like I said, if you didn't answer your phone, that voicemail greeting may be the only chance you get to make that first impression. So we want it to set us apart from anybody else that they're calling. You're going to spend hours and hours building your business. So don't neglect that voicemail greeting. I promise. Okay. So listen to your current voicemail word for word and decide how it makes you feel. Does it move you? Is it memorable? Is it a good representation of who you are and what you want people to think of you? If not, you're going to outline a new message. Decide which items to include, such as a call to action, your selling strategies, why you're in real estate, how you can or want to help people, your company name, what you specialize in, or your primary purpose, right? Some things to be included in there. Don't be redundant or state the obvious. Use words that you would normally use so that it flows and sounds natural. And above all, don't try to sound like somebody else. Again, I don't think we're all utilizing ChatGPT as much as we could be. And some people may be like, Amy, I'm scared of AI. It's all right. Write it yourself and then say, hey, here's the points I want in my outgoing voicemail greeting. Please rewrite it. Right? And it'll like spit something out using those points. So it's still you rewriting it. It's just helping to put your thoughts in a more cohesive manner by utilizing it. I'm not good at writing specifically. I mean, I can, it takes me time to come up with, but it's really easy to just come up with some points and say, do this. Write your message and practice it, right? Read it through a few times before you go to record it. Have your friends or family members listen and critique that message. And then once you've recorded your message, make sure, make sure that it's recorded appropriately. So make sure that you call into yourself or have somebody else call into yourself to listen through it again to make sure that it recorded appropriately. Sometimes it gets screwed up. Any questions about that voicemail greeting? If you search in our Foxhole group on Facebook, if you search voicemail or outgoing message, one of the two, we got a copy of one from another agent from another Realty One office that a lot of people liked. So it's in that Foxhole group. I'll try to find it later and comment on it so it pulls it back up to the top. But it's a good outgoing message. Some of the things that I recommend is like setting those expectations of, if it's after 5 o'clock, I'll call you back the next business day, or I check my messages, twice a day at 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Right? So whatever that might be for you, setting those expectations, right? Set the expectations for a callback, or even letting people know that if they wanted to text you, they may get a faster response. Okay, so just make sure you set those expectations appropriately and then set up that voicemail greeting. We want to make sure that you set yourself up now for the future, especially if you're a brand new agent. I would make sure to have a separate, I don't think that's spelled correctly. Anyway, separate phone number for business versus your personal cell phone number. Okay, go get a Google Voice number, do some research, find another one, have something local, but have it be separate. And the reason I recommend that is that twofold. The first being that it just allows you to kind of set those limits on personal versus business. And we know that every time that phone rings, it's a business call versus every time my phone rings. So that if I'm not distracted during like family time, right? If I've got a personal phone number and a business phone number and I know it's 7 o'clock on Saturday night, there's no reason for me to answer that business number. I don't even need to have that number turned on at that time. So I don't get distracted during my family time. Second thing is having a separate phone number, especially if it's got like forwarding capabilities. How free would you be then when you go on vacation and you say, hey, Adriana, can you watch my business for me while I'm on vacation? I'm going to actually forward all my phone calls to you as well. Is that okay? Right. And now all of a sudden, my calls are being forwarded to Adriana. I'm on vacation with my regular personal phone and I actually get to enjoy vacation. Or down the road, you may decide to hire an admin and you want your calls forwarded to the admin, or you want that admin to be able to answer those business calls. So having that separate phone number allows you to be able to do that. In addition to that, I would recommend having a professional business email. Okay, so go buy a domain. It's not super expensive. I just renewed like 3 of my domains this last week. I think it cost me, I don't know, $90 to renew 3 domains for 3 years. Okay, so it's not super expensive. But get a domain so that it's like Amy at realestateaccordingtoamy.com versus amy@gmail.com. Okay. It just makes you seem more professional. I don't recommend using a company email address. And what do I mean by that? Like whatever real estate company you're with, whether it's Realty One Group or whatever, I don't recommend using that one because sometimes things change, or even they may change their platform or their server and they may no longer use that email suffix anymore. So having your own and owning your own business email, I would say, is imperative. Okay. And then the third one with that is a web domain. So when you buy that domain, you can usually get a business email with it for like pennies on the dollar. And then you also have the web domain. So it could be like realestateaccordingtoamy.com, right? If anybody ever plugs that in, it goes to me. You can have it set up to forward. So we may be using our free Realty One Group website for property searches and stuff, but instead of it being Amy at realtyonegroup.com, now it's amysellshomes.com and it forwards to that website. So we don't have to, just because we have our own domain doesn't mean we have to then start creating our own websites and doing our own things. We can set it up to forward it. It just makes everything more cohesive and free. And again, if things change up, they switch platforms with Realty One Group to a new one and it changes that website. If we're using our own domain, all we have to do is re-forward it to the new location versus getting all new materials printed up and letting people know of the change. So those are the three things that I would do to prepare now for the future, even though you may not be in a place where you quite need it. Separate phone number, business email, and a web domain. Okay. And I'm normally like free 99. I only do things that are free, but in this sense, I would pay for that web domain to make sure that you own it and have it something related to you and homes. Adriana, do you have a question?
Yeah, how do you, because I was thinking about doing that. Do you just like Google web domain
Yeah,
or?
so you can do a couple different things. I would personally, so I own a lot of domains through GoDaddy. So GoDaddy is a good one to buy domains through, but you can also buy them straight through Google. So Google has a workspace. It's Google Workspace. It's for business owners so that you can actually, so that's like, I was trying to think, but I don't have any examples for you. But anyways, well, I have a cyberbackernorcal.com email address. So it's Amy at cyberbackernorcal.com. That one's actually a Google web space domain. So I bought my domain through Google Workspace and then it's set up. So it's actually a Gmail based account, which means through that account, I have access to all of the Gmail suite or Google suite of sheets and docs and the Google Drive, but it's not gmail.com. It's cyberbackernorcal.com. So Google Workspace is kind of who I would recommend going because it does give you that ability to have that Google Drive.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of my domains too, I purchased through GoDaddy and then I can import them into Google Workspace as well. So you don't have to buy it, but I think you can buy them through Google Workspace as well. Perfect. All right. Moving right along, bank accounts. So remember, as a real estate agent, you are an independent contractor, which makes you a business owner. We were just talking about this. I was on a webinar yesterday that we sponsored where we were talking about the fact that so many real estate agents don't see themselves as business owners. And ultimately, right, you sell a couple homes and you're actually like a multi-million-dollar business owner. You're handling multi-million-dollar transactions in the course of a year. So please set yourself up for success. Make sure that you have separate checking and saving accounts that you use just for business. Okay, all your income and expenses is going to come from these accounts. Okay, it does not have to be specifically a business account. Like you don't have to walk into the bank and say, I need a business account. You can just have a separate checking and savings account initially set up for that. All of your commission checks should get deposited into that account, and then only business expenses should come out of those accounts. If you are going to pay yourself some money so that you can pay your personal bills, you're going to do what's called a disbursement, which means you're going to transfer money out of that account into your regular account so that you can utilize it for personal things. But in that checking and savings account, it's only going to be all of your business income and all of your business expenses. Okay. Which means that if you're using things like Venmo or different things to pay showing assistants or to pay the sign guy or do whatever, we need to make sure that we have that set up and linked to that business account as well, so that money can go in there. And then the money could also come out of there. So just kind of keep that in mind, that we want to make sure to do that. Okay, any questions about having a separate business accounts?
This is probably more of a question for the bank, but do you know if, like, if you create a new checking account, do you get like another like debit card for that specific account?
Absolutely. So most banks, for every checking account you open, they will allow you to have a debit card for each account. So I've got like one bank that's got 4 or 5 different accounts with it, and I've got 4 or 5 different debit cards for that account. So you absolutely would get a separate card. That way you can use it for your expenses.
Okay, and then I don't know if you're going to cover this, but what do you think about and creating an LLC for your business? Like, is it good? Is it bad? Is it doesn't matter?
Um, yeah, absolutely. I would reach out, especially you, Adriana. You're doing enough business where you need to reach out to um a tax person or even like a financial planner, somebody that can advise you on the best way to shelter yourself from taxes for your business. Because as a independent contractor, when you get your commissions checks, we're not taking taxes and stuff out of that check. And so you're going to be responsible for those. Ultimately, you should be paying your taxes on a quarterly basis. Otherwise, you get a little penalty at the end of the year for not paying quarterly taxes. But I would recommend hiring somebody to do your taxes for you that can help make sure that you're optimizing all of your write-offs, and somebody who can advise you on what the best structure is for your business. In most cases, Adriana, I would say absolutely yes. You should set yourself up as some sort of a corporation to help shelter yourself from taxes. Depending on what your individual situation is, somebody can advise you on the best way to go about doing that.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, on your financials, remember you are a business owner. So again, they're not going to take taxes out. So we want to make sure that you save 25 to 30% of your gross check that you receive for your taxes. Okay. In most cases, I actually recommend that you have a checking account for your expenses going out. You have a regular savings account where your commissions go in, and then you have a tax savings account. So it's secondary savings account where we transfer over that money for the taxes. So we make sure we don't touch it. Okay. Now, hopefully you've got an amazing tax person who knows what they're doing and can help you join the upper crust and pay as little in taxes as possible. So hopefully they can keep your tax bracket below 25%, which means that at the end of the year, when you don't have to pay the full amount that you put in that account, you now get an end of the year bonus. I wouldn't change what you put in there. I would just wait until you paid your taxes, and then that way you're safe for whatever you got to spend and pay in taxes, but whatever's left over becomes your end of the year bonus. Again, make sure you talk to a tax professional to find out all your potential write-offs and maximize your tax savings. I'm probably going to have my tax person teach a class again. We had her scheduled last quarter, but we were having low turnout for some of our trainings. So I'll probably have her back again in a couple of months. And she is, I was just looking, she studied under Tom Wheelwright for tax-free wealth. So she kind of knows all the loopholes, the best way to structure yourself as a real estate agent or an independent business owner to help avoid as many taxes as possible or maximize those tax savings. And with that comes that, do you want to be an individual, a corporation, an LLC? So make sure that you talk with some professionals, financial planners, tax professionals that can help guide you in that direction so you set yourself up for success. Any questions?
Can you share your tax person's information?
I will. Shoot me over a text message and I will make sure I share it with you.
Okay.
Perfect. In addition to that, we want to make sure that we have a P&L each and every month. And if you're like, Amy, what in the world is a P&L? It's a profit and loss statement. So even if you're doing your own financials, you should have like a QuickBooks small business account. I know I'm telling you to pay for a lot today because you do have to pay for QuickBooks for that small business, but I'm telling you, it's going to be worth it. It's going to allow you to track all that income, track all the expenses, label it appropriately, and be able to show you on a monthly basis where you're at, what you've got coming in versus what's going out, so you can keep track of that profit and loss. Okay. We can dive into that more in another class as well, as far as how to do that or what that looks like or what you're looking for on that profit and loss, because a lot of people have never actually seen one. So we can dive further into that, but just know that you want to have the ability to be able to do that. In addition to that, we want to make sure you're tracking your mileage as an independent contractor, especially somebody who is in your car showing properties, going to listings, going to appointments, going to meetings. All of that stuff is potentially a write-off for you. Again, I'm not a tax professional, so make sure you talk with your tax professional. The best app that I have found to track your mileage is Mile IQ. I haven't found one. It's been a while since I've looked for a different one, but back in the day, I tried 4 or 5 different ones, and it was the best, mainly because I didn't have to remember to turn it on when I got in the car to track my mileage. Okay, so anything that I don't have to like personally remember to turn on, because let's be honest, that's going to happen like 10% of the time that I'm going to remember to do it. And then I'd miss out on 90% of the trips or try to recreate them, and it'd be a mess. So Mile IQ just tracks every trip that you ever make in your vehicle. It then at the end of each day or the end of each week, I recommend doing it at the end of each day. You're going to go in, open Mile IQ. You're going to put it as a calendar appointment, and you're just going to swipe one direction for business and one direction for personal drives. And you're just going to track those throughout the year so that you have those when it comes time to do your taxes. The nice thing too about Mile IQ is not only does it track all your drives without you having to do anything, it also is smart. So if you've got a listing at 123 Sample Street and you're like business, it's going to say, hey, it looks like every time you go to 123 Sample Street, that's a business trip. Do you want me to automatically log those as business trips? And you're going to be like, yes, please. Now, every time you go to that listing, it's going to automatically log it as a business. And then when you open it up at the end of the day, you're not even going to have to worry about those trips. You're just going to categorize the other ones. So just some things to do there. I feel like branded marketing's on the wrong slide, so we're just going to move right along there. Any questions about tracking your mileage or having a P&L statement?
Hey, Edie, not Edie, Amy. that was for that one app. What's it called? Mile IQ.
Yeah, Mile IQ.
So wait, how did you say you can enter a property address? You can. I didn't know you could do that.
It usually will automatically log it. So if it sees that you're going to a location multiple times and you're good about logging your trips, it will, as far as like I did where they go, it will usually pop up a little notification, and it may be in the settings that you have to turn on, that says, hey, it looks like every time you go here, it's a business trip. Do you want me to automatically log those?
Okay.
Yep. All right, branding. Okay, branding is marketing, and in branding, consistency is key. Okay, so your logos, your colors, your slogans, your photo filters, your fonts, your images, your filters, they should be consistent across all digital and print media. Okay, so whatever your logo is on that postcard that you just sent out should match the logo on your business card, should match the logo on your social media posts. Okay, the fonts should be the same or similar. The images should be similar. The filters that we use, right? So whatever that filter is, whatever that look is on social media, we want it pretty consistent so that it begins that branding process. Okay, we want to create that brand recognition with new prospects and existing clients. We want those friends that we have on social media that have seen our post and hear that we're in real estate, that they recognize our logo on that open house sign that we have for the open house that we're hosting on the weekend. Okay, we want it to be recognizable and consistent. Now, the only thing that I'll say which I have changed, is your banners and your images, your profile picture on your social media, those don't have to be the same as every other piece of branding. And the reason I'm going to say that is I've learned recently that you get more interactions if you update your banners on your social media pages and you update your profile picture on a monthly basis. So on the first of the month, update your profile picture. Halfway through the month, update that banner, because you'll get more interactions and more reach with that social media. So I used to say that, hey, your social media banners should be the same. They should match everything. The same image you're using on marketing should be the image that you're using on social media. I'm taking all that back, and I'm telling you that doesn't have to be the case. That being said, I would make sure it matches across social media platforms. So whatever I update my profile picture to on Facebook, I probably want to update the same profile picture onto Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever. And same thing with my banners. I may want to cross-pollinate those across each social media platform as I update them. But we want everything to be consistent as far as logos, slogans, the filters, all of that should be the same.
Hey, Amy, did you
Yes.
use like Etsy or something to do your logo?
I used initially we used Fiverr to create our logos. More recently, I think we've just created when we kind of changed it up, we just did it ourselves inside of Canva.
Okay, I just when I created mine, it was kind of a fast thing because I left the team and I just wanted to do something like just have my own, but now I don't like it anymore. And I'm like, okay, I feel like I need to rebrand.
I don't think there's anything wrong with rebranding, but yeah, you could go through. I think Etsy has some options there, or again, back to Fiverr. Fiverr has options for that.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see here. You also want to make sure that even though you might be updating your social media banners and profile pictures, or getting those headshots, you want to make sure, does it look professional, right? Does it represent who you are or who you want to be as an agent? Is it obvious that you're in real estate? Like if somebody goes to your social media page or somebody looks at your I don't know. Even like, right, we can even on our iPhones now, we can have our image that comes across on there. Like, does that say that you're in real estate? Does it identify that you're a realtor in your automatic contact card where you can update people's contact information for you? So just make sure it's there. If you were a potential client, would you hire this person to represent you or market your listing for sale? And the other thing that comes into play is not just with your profile pictures and those banners, but what you're posting on social media. So just be aware that people are looking through that information. They're looking you up. They're stalking you oftentimes before they hire you. So just make sure that it comes across as the person that you would want somebody to hire. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what's wrong or right, what you should or shouldn't comment on, what you should or shouldn't post. It's your business, your independent contractors, but just make sure it's a good representation of who you are as a realtor. You may even have other people look at your pages and make suggestions as well, or look at your marketing materials and make suggestions. Okay, any questions there about branding?
No.
All right. Your online presence, create accounts and keep them updated. You should have a presence on Zillow, Realtor.com, Berries, and CAR. So CAR is the California Association of Realtors. You can log in there to your profile. Again, you're going to put that bio in there. Your profile picture should be in CAR. Same thing with Berries. If you go to realtor.com, there's an agent login. You can create a free realtor.com account. Again, we want our bio in there. You want your profile picture uploaded. We want to make sure our contact information is correct. You can't guess how many agents I've been looking at recently, especially kind of in that like far Northern California region, because I had some clients looking for vacant land up there, that it would say, you know, on Zillow property listed by so-and-so, but it wouldn't give their contact information. So now I'm Googling, trying to find their contact information because we don't have MLS access up there. And it took forever to find like an actual phone number or an email address for these agents. So make sure your information is out there. Make sure it's on Realtor. You can, again, there's Zillow. You can create a free agent account on Zillow. Make sure you have that. Make sure it's updated. Make sure your bio's in there, your contact information. The nice thing about Zillow too is once you have closings, you can actually claim those closings on your Zillow account. It'll automatically claim, if you put in your MLS information, it'll automatically claim your listings for the most part once they sell, but your buyer transactions, you can claim those as well. So if you go to like an agent on the Zillow page, it shows like recent closings. That's where that's coming from. So you can have that too. You just got to create a Zillow profile so it can pull it over. Those are also, Zillow and Realtor, great places to get reviews from clients because people are looking in those places for agents and they're looking you up on different things. They're going to Google you. The other thing that you may want to keep in mind is that you may want to Google yourself, right? You only get one chance to make a good impression. So Google yourself, see what comes up in their Google search, what comes up on Facebook, what comes up on LinkedIn, and ask yourself, would you hire that person? So just kind of keep that in mind. And then social media, do we want a business page or just personal? I'm going to back up one step real quick. You should also create a profile on Yelp and on a Google business page. Okay, so you can create a Google business and you should create a Yelp because people are going to those places looking for you or for agents as well. So you want to show up on there. So just kind of keep that in mind. Make a little note to yourself to look into how to create that business profile on both Google and Yelp. Okay. Now we'll move forward. Social media. Do you need a business page or just personal? It's coming out more and more that the business pages aren't as beneficial as they used to be. That being said, I kind of still think they're necessary just to have validity for people searching you and who you are. But I don't know that it's necessary. If you're not good with social media, just keep your personal page and build your social media there. It does need to be public. Okay, so make a public page. The other thing is that you can do is instead of a business page, they're saying that celebrity pages, I think is what they're called, are more beneficial than like a business page. So you can create like an additional person there. So just kind of keep that in mind. Go with an 80-20 rule on your personal pages. You should be posting 80% personal content, 20% business. So for every 10 posts, 8 should be personal, 2 should be business. You're going to get bonus points from me if you can roll in your business and your personal posts together so that your business post isn't look at this house I have for sale, but rather, oh my gosh, I so enjoy being a real estate agent because it allows me the time to be with my family or check out this brand new listing that I have coming available. I've always wanted a pool like this or whatever it is, but don't just make it like your stock for sale or open house. Make it fun and creative. And again, try to pull in who you are into those business posts as well. If you do have a business page, make sure you are posting on it. And it's the same 80-20 rule, but in reverse. In your business page, it should be 80% business, 20% personal. People still want to know who you are, but it should be more business than personal. Make sure you have creative content. With a business page, you can boost posts. Once your personal page gets to a certain level, you can also boost posts on your personal page. They've started allowing you to do that. And then again, make sure it's set to public so that people can actually see the posts. And if you're like, oh, I don't know that I want to do that, it's for friends and family, create a second page for just friends and family, or just stop posting personal information on social media altogether and just, I mean, not totally personal, but just things that you would only want friends and family to know. Find another way to stay in touch with them, but I would move my social media over to public. It's a great way to gain clients. If you're having problems coming up with content, number one, if you search in our Foxhole group for content calendar, I think it'll come up. I've got like a pre-drafted content calendar for 30 days of ideas for posts that you could do. The other thing is, it's been a few slides since I've mentioned it. So Chat GPT, open it up, create an account, say create give me 30 ideas for social media posts for a real estate business page, and it will give you all sorts of ideas, or even create 30 posts for my social media business page. It will spit those out. You can tweak them and change them. You can ask for 5 additional ones. It could be a valuable resource to help you come up with that content. Any questions about social media, branding, online presence? All right. Moving right along to marketing. There are compliance requirements for all first point of contact. And if you're like, Amy, what's a first point of contact? Your first point of contact is anything somebody may come in contact with that would be the first time they saw it. So your social media page, your for sale signs, your flyers, your business card, your postcards you're sending out, all of those things should have your name on it. It should have your license number on it. That's a DRE requirement. It should identify the brokerage that you work for and have the brokerage logo. Okay, so those are the things that need to be on every piece of media or advertisement. On your social media page, obviously, if it's branded, the page says who you work for and has your DRE number, then each individual post having it doesn't necessarily need to be there. This is another reason why I like a business page, is that on my personal page, I can always tag the business page in my business post, and now I've met all the requirements for the first point of contact on there. But any postcard or sign that goes out needs to make sure it has this information on there. And then keep in mind that if you have your own logo, the brokerage logo should be as prominent as your own logo or as your name. Okay, so the brokerage logo shouldn't be like this small and your name's this big. It should be basically equivalent in size or as prominent. And then your license number on there should not be the smallest thing on the sign or the postcard. Okay, that's a DRE requirement as well. The license number cannot be the smallest thing. The way to get around that is you can put each office is independently owned and operated at the bottom of the marketing material in the smallest print ever. And now everything's always bigger than that. So that's one option. You don't have to have the brokerage license number on there. However, that being said, if you're getting signs made like for sale signs or open house signs, I would go ahead and put the brokerage license number on there, because I keep expecting the DRE at some point is going to come in and change that requirement, and then you're already in compliance. It really takes up no space to add that brokerage license number on there. So I would just put it on there anyways. Questions about that? And you don't have to have the brokerage name and the brokerage logo. The brokerage logo identifies the brokerage that you work for. The other option too is in your business post, you can tag Realty One Group Fox in there. All right. Details matter if you want results. So consistency is important, right? We want a consistent message delivered all time. So remember we talked about, based on branding, that that consistency should happen. It should have the same font, the same logos, the same look in everything we send out. So if we're sending out postcards around our listing for an open house, just listed, just sold, under contract, right? Whatever it is, they should all look consistent. Somebody who got the first postcard should automatically recognize they're getting a similar postcard on the next one. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but it should have the similar look to it as it goes through. There should be consistency in that. It should have quality materials, right? So we don't have to always use the most expensive thing in the world, but we maybe also don't want to use the cheapest thing. I used to get postcards all the time from my house, or not from my house, at my house, from a company that shall remain not named. And they were like these cheapy, like flimsy paper, teeny tiny postcards with a handwritten address on it. Like, I've just sold 123 Sample Street was handwritten, and the rest of it was printed. And to me, that just looked cheesy and non-quality. So just think of the quality of materials that you want to send out. Make sure it's a good representation of who you are. And on every marketing piece, there should always be a call to action. Okay, that's going to be a very powerful and crucial tool in your materials that you send out. It's going to give somebody the reason to pick up the phone and call you, to scan that QR code and go see how much their house is worth. Whatever it is, it's that thing that's going to make them actually want to have action to reach out to you one way or another. So every piece of mailing should have consistency, quality materials, and that call to action. And we want to be, remember too, that we want to be what's called prospecting based and marketing enhanced. And what that means is prospecting is like belly to belly, face to face conversations with people, picking up the phone. So let's use a farm, for example. Marketing to your farm would be mailing out postcards or just throwing them on their doorstep every week. That's marketing. You're throwing something out there and hoping somebody's going to respond. Versus if it's prospecting based, we're going to go knock on every door in hopes of having a conversation. And then maybe if they're not home, then we leave a postcard behind. But we want to have as many conversations with people as possible because that's the easiest way to build rapport, create relationship, and move it to a transaction. So just remember, prospecting based, marketing enhanced. The marketing that we send out should help just to reinforce who we were when we had that conversation with them. Okay. There's a few examples of like postcards or mailers, right? So just sold. This one's a good one because it points out what they did differently than another agent. Instead of like sold, right? And then their information on there, it's like just sold. 3320 Garfield was on the market for 6 months with a different company and did not sell. Trillium Real Estate listed the house and sold it in 28 days. Call us today to find out what your home is worth, right? Oh my gosh, that sets them apart from somebody else. It's got that call to action on there, the call us today. It's got the contact information on there. The only thing I would say is on this side, at least I can't see it. It doesn't look like it has any DRE number. It does have the logo for the brokerage though. So just remember this should have had her DRE number on there. Here's another one. You'll be surprised at how much your Carmichael home is worth today. If you're curious about what your Carmichael home may be worth, here's an easy way to instantly find out what your home would sell for in today's market. Plus, get a free report with up-to-minute stats based on all the homes for sale in your Carmichael neighborhood over the last 6 months. To get your free February 2020 report on Carmichael home prices, just go to carmichaelhomeprices.com. There's the call to action. You can find Carmichael homes for sale at findingcarmichaelhomes.com. Reports provided by, there's the name, title, Scott Realty Consultants, license number, right? Not intended to solicit properties currently listed for sale. So there you go there. That's also a good one. It's got a call to action on it and something to like kind of hook you in. We just sold one of your neighbor's homes. What's your home worth? It's going to have the information on the back. Here's a market update. They've got their license number on the bottom, Sacramento market update. The market's continually changing. We can help you buy or sell with confidence. Call or email us today. So again, that call to action on there. Ta-da, just more. I would make sure that you've got something that makes you stand out or unique when you do it. Here's like a barbecue one for like a pop by. This one's kind of cool. She does a holiday lights tour mailing out to her database or to her farm, right? With all the cool places to go see Christmas lights. You could send it out in October, like to a farm with all the pumpkin patches or the Christmas tree farms or, right? So many opportunities there. Here's like a I moved one, download my mobile app. So there's just some good ideas for marketing. Again, it should have your DRE number on there as well, which some of these seem to be lacking that information. But that brings us to the end of today's class. Any questions, thoughts, ahas from the class today? In the chat box, Vanessa's the only one that's still with us, but in the chat box, Vanessa, there's a link to that voicemail post in our Foxhole group. So if you want to listen to what that outgoing voicemail looked like, it's there. And then if you have any ideas for suggested trainings that you'd like to see in December or the beginning of next year, there is a link for that in the chat box as well. You can click on it and make suggestions. Hopefully you got something good out of it. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you next week. We're back with seller forms on Wednesday, and then back with Rev Up on Thursday at 10 o'clock. We'll see you then.